Yes, it is Wednesday. And, I get excited every Wednesday. One, because it's midweek and you have made it through a Monday. Yes, terrible Monday. Made it through a Tuesday. And now it is Wednesday. And we stand at the crossroads with the weekend ahead of us. And I just got to say, don't lose hope just yet. We got to keep pushing. This is not a hump day. This is a G code day. And I'm here to give you some motivation while giving you the pretty, the ugly, and the grind of success by featuring some dope go-getters that I bring to you weekly. In today's go-getter, you're going to learn so much about her. And all I got to say, let's just talk about jumping out the window. Jumping out the window with no parachute, no trampoline down there. And all you have is faith that you're going to land on your feet like a cat. Yes, let's just call it the catwalk. Nonetheless, it's time for us to jump into the G code to give you the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success. What's up, my go-getters? It's me, ADRI.V, the go-getter, back again with another episode of the G Code. And today I'm really excited. I get to bring to the mic and bring into the G Code a girl that I got a chance to intern with at BET. She was always a person that stood out amongst the rest of the interns and was definitely about her business and just maneuvering, networking, and making things happen. And anybody who knows about interning at a major network, you got to be on your grind and you got to be about your business. And that is indeed what she is still about. So let's welcome my girl, Miss Brittany B, aka better known as Brittany Benson. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm good. And no, thank you. I know you're busy. And so I know it takes a moment to really carve out some time. So I thank you for coming on to the show.
No, I'm really excited about tonight.
I'm happy that you are. So let's really get right into it. I got a chance to get to know you while we were up at in New York City doing our internship at BET, and you were a media major then when you were in college, right?
Yes, I majored in mass communications and broadcast media.
And you had your show. It was a Brittany B on the Yard? I forgot, On the Yard with Brittany B. I remember that.
Yeah, it was On the Yard with Brittany B, and I started that in undergrad, and it just really birthed a life on its own. That's when I first learned that I was building something, and as we call now, a brand.
Right.
But I had no idea at the time what I was doing. But yeah.
And not only did you build a brand, but you definitely built a name for yourself. And because I know you, those who are listening may not. Who the heck is Brittany B?
Oh my God. It depends. It depends on the day, right? So
that's a good one.
The day, the hour. I'm always transforming. But if I had to, say who I am, I feel like I'm just a person that is just a dreamer. I don't like to, go. I like to take direction, but I really like to do my own thing. I've always kind of been, I hate to say hustler, but someone that likes to, as your show title, go getter,
right?
Into manifesting and making the things that I want to happen in my life really become a reality. And I'm very competitive, with myself, and so I'm always trying to outbeat what I did last, and that's just really who I am.
And, let's talk about a little bit. We talked about your undergrad. What is your education in?
Yeah, so I went to North Carolina Central. Shout out NCCU. I went to school for mass communication broadcast media. So, I graduated with the BA in that. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I randomly got into a master's program. My friend at the time, she was a campus director for Strayer University. Strayer's all over the United States. And at the time when I first moved to Atlanta, I really couldn't get into a job that I wanted. And so she was like, you need to do something. I'm going to enroll you in this master's program. And they had a master's in marketing program, and I just kind of got into it because, to be honest with you, I needed the refund checks.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
gotta be strategic.
So I was like, let me get in here, at least I can get a check. I can't find a job right now. I'm going to, take this check, do what I need to do to live. And, I ended up finishing the program before I knew it. I was done. And, so that's really like my background in education. And then, of course, just I'm in the marketing field, so I'm always having to educate constantly on a day-to-day to keep up with what's going on. But if I, as far as like paper, black and white, that's what I have.
And, just to even go back to what you said from the beginning, being a dreamer and really having this idea of creating a life and creating a thing that you wanted to have and to be. And I think it's so funny how the world, how things happen, right? Like you said, in the opening, you had Brittany B, which is, on the yard with Brittany B. You were building a brand then, and then you go to school for communications, then you stumble into a marketing degree, and now we go into this thing we like to call the branding bar, which seems to be a thing you've been working on from the very beginning. Let's talk about the branding bar.
Oh my gosh, the branding bar. Yes. Things you got, God, I like to say orders of steps even you don't realize it, because when I got into this master program that I was at first reluctant to get into, but was happy to get into because of the check.
Right.
I was, the first class was, we had to, I don't remember the name of the class, but we had to come up with a business, and we had to come up with what type of business it was, what we were going to offer, like really like a business plan, like how we were going to make money, and all of that. And so be it that I was already, knew about marketing and I was in the master's program, I have been reading a lot of things that had to do with, branding, and, I already kind of was doing public relations outside of, an undergrad, but I didn't know that it was PR,
right.
So I was kind of always doing things, but I didn't have like the actual terminology to put behind it until I got in the master's program. I was like, oh, I've done this. I've been a publicist before. I've done this. And so the first class, that's how the branding bar started. Now, was the branding bar, did it offer the services that it is now? Absolutely not. Like, the branding bar was so many different things. When I first started, the original branding bar, I wanted it to be kind of like a indie e-commerce site where I would feature, products that people created, whether it's apparel, jewelry, and I was kind of like the branding bar was the home for people to market and promote, their products.
Right.
Which is still a good business idea, not to say that I won't sometime down the line incorporate that structure, but, maybe have it be an offset or something. But it took time to kind of get to where I am, but I've had the branding bar for 5 years now. But this year, 2015, is the first year that I've been an entrepreneur full time. Like, this is all I do.
Wow. Congratulations on that, because that's really taking huge steps and huge faith and just saying, what, I bet on me and I believe in me enough to jump into this thing head first and do it without any kind of parachute, because that's pretty much what you're doing.
No, like when I tell you, like I wrote a post on Facebook the other day, my whole life this year has been a risk. Like, I literally, even like in this moment, like I go, every day is just a different experience for me, because, I don't have that safety net that most people have when it comes to having money come in every 2 weeks, It's really generally like a faith walk for me every single moment of the day. And my life has been a risk. My faith has been pushed to levels that I didn't even know existed. When I tell you so many miracles, like if I told you stories right now of what's happened to me this year, like you would think I was crazy. And, it's just been, God has really wowed me. And it's nothing I feel that I can't do, or nothing that I don't think God can do for me, because I'm just open to whatever good that's going to come to me, and I think that's where you start.
Absolutely. The Bible says faith without work is dead, like the body without the spirit is dead. So, once you decide to put that work in and have that faith, he shows up. He becomes that safety net. And also through him showing up and becoming that safety net, sometimes he allows us to, what I've learned in my own walk, is that he allows us to kind of go through some things to ensure that this is what we want, or to really make sure we understand once we get it, it's even better, you know? And so with the whole concept of the G code, you know, we talk about the pretty, the ugly, and the grind. You know, we get to see the pretty. And, you know, let's talk about the pretty. You have been able to work with, you know, personalities like Lala Anthony. Now, how did that even come about?
Well, so this is the thing about being a creative and, you know, kind of thinking forward. So at the time, I had a full-time job working at the headquarters for Habitat for Humanity. And I don't know if you've ever worked in anybody's ever worked in a corporate, you know, situation for a major company.
Right.
And I'm doing marketing, social media. And when you're working with a huge company that is a worldwide brand and you're at the headquarters and you're working with executives, and, you know, I'm going in there and I'm like literally maybe one of the only Black women in the company, really, to be honest. And I'm super young, you know, like, to be honest, we had 2 Black ladies. One of the Black ladies, she worked in the mailroom, you know, like I was really in there giving ideas, and it was really hard at times because working in a corporate environment, you know, they're stuck in their ways. Everything is about policy. You have meetings to have you have meetings to have another meeting. And I got frustrated. But to get to the Lala situation, you know, moving and, you know, as my stepdad says, moving and shaking, moving and shaking. And, you know, the city, you meet people. And at the time, Habitat was really trying to find a way to connect with, as marketers we call it millennials. The younger, our generation, we're millennials, but we're kind of in the higher end age of the millennial phase. But they're trying to connect with millennials to get them to know about the Habitat brand, but really didn't know how to make that happen. And so I have been in meetings and I keep hearing the same conversation. And although I wasn't really given ideas a lot because I felt like they would be shut down, one day I just had an idea, you know what? This is when Lala had her show, Full Court Life. And at the time, I was doing kind of like you're doing a radio show called Brand Confessions where I was interview, you know, people in the city that were doing their thing.
Right.
And one time I had set up an interview with Lala's brother, Christian. And, you know, I've known him. He lives in the city and hanging out and stuff. And so we were just having a conversation. And he had came up to Habitat to my office at the time, and he was like, you know, this is really dope. Like, I would really like to do something with Habitat. So I was like, oh, okay. So I had that conversation with him, and I kept thinking about it, you know. And I was like, well, maybe. And I knew he was filming because he sometimes would show up on the show. So I knew he was filming with Lala, and I was like, you know what, maybe we can, and you know, we worked in TV, so we know producers are always looking for storylines. Right. And so I was like, well, maybe Lala, you guys can build a house for Habitat, for an episode. And it literally was just that simple. Wow. I had to go, of course, to people at Habitat that had that power above me to, you know, pitch it, tell them this is a great opportunity. You know, of course, they are really sensitive about their brand, but be it that Lala was the executive producer, and, you know, Christian, obviously, it's her brother. She's listening to him, and we made it happen. And so that's really the relationship with Lala and me working with her. And then, you know, just seeing her out and about, and she's a real sweet girl. Woman, excuse me, she's not a girl. And, you know, it was like the first, and like putting those two brands together, you know, which are just something that you would never think, right? You know, it's just very random. And the Habitat that she ended up volunteering at or building a house for was in Jersey. You know, Jersey a couple years ago had that huge hurricane. And so they needed, you know, the funding because they were trying to rebuild a lot of, you know, houses from the hurricane. And that particular Habitat where she built the house on the show, they ended up getting a lot of donation. And so, you know, even though I wasn't out in front, it necessarily wasn't under the branding bar, because I was an employee of Habitat. It still was something that I put together, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And although it wasn't anything like Habitat would probably, they would give me credit for, but it just shows like, man, I got great ideas. Like, I know how to align things,
Absolutely. And I remember watching that episode. So it's just, as we think back to it and you're talking about it, it's just like, wow, it was just a simple ask and a simple conversation.
Yeah, and it's all about, thinking outside the box and looking at your, well, I won't say I'm in their circle, but the people that you know what I mean? And how you can change the world, benefit, or just do something good, I didn't get paid anything extra for that.
Right.
But it was something that was cool. And I can say that I put that relationship together, and I did that. I might not be on the credits, but, Yes,
and you utilize your skill set well, the ability to have a conversation. And, just even going back to, as I go down a line of what this podcast is all about, I like to jump in the ugly after we go to the pretty. You talked about coming to Atlanta and deciding to jump into your master's program because you needed to check, and so many people make that move to a place, and once they get to a place and it becomes difficult, they run back home, or, it becomes hard. They decide to, okay, maybe this isn't for me, and they stop pursuing their dreams. During your time of the struggle, let's say, or not being able to have yourself live in a way you wanted to, what were you dealing with? And, what was going through your mind when it's just like, okay, it's just me out here. I got to figure this out. Got to get this job. And now I got to do school. I'm stressing out. Like, I could only imagine what you were really facing mentally.
I still face kind of, when you say it out loud, I still kind of go through that, but it's just at a different level. But when I first got here, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan. I had unfortunately got let go from a job, and so I had a severance check. So when I came, it was the summertime, and I was like, yeah, I'm in ATL, it's the summer. I was staying with a friend at the time, and I really didn't have to worry too much about bills, and right. I was really enjoying myself. I feel like I kind of suppressed the feeling like I knew I had to get to work, but because I did kind of have that cushion of some type of stability for the first 2-3 months, I, was just like, okay, let me just enjoy this before I really get into the grind, because I know I go hard,
Right.
But when it came time for me to really get focused, I was, like anybody, I was putting myself out there. I felt like, because even going back to undergrad, so let's back up there, because I feel like this is important. You know that I did the BT internship. Right. I had my radio show. People were knowing who I was. So throughout undergrad, I thought I was going to get a job. Like, it was going to be easy.
Honey,
because I had been doing all of the things that everybody told me to do.
Girl.
And when the reality hit that didn't happen, listen, I was like, what?
You talking to the choir, girl. You're talking to the choir.
Yeah, so, but I feel like I graduated at a bad time. That was 2008. That was like right when the recession. So yes. People were kind of like freaking out anyway. Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting a random job, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to save up, and I'm going to try to move to Atlanta. Listen, you don't ever tell yourself that. If you want to do something, just do it.
Just do it.
So, yeah, I ended up getting this job. I ended up getting let go, and it pushed me to come here. Like, I just had to go. The timing was right. But when I got here and then I finally got serious after playing around, I realized, I'm really an adult. Like, what do I need to do to make the move? And I wasn't getting hired by anybody. I still ended up getting a job. Like, I worked at a collection company, which was commission only. I did that for like 2 years, but I was in school, so I was getting the refund check. So I was kind of still, kind of okay.
Right.
But it was just a journey, the job at the collection company is so crazy. I'm bringing this up. I was at the ATM and ran into one of the owners of that agency, and I was like, you know what? The skills that I learned there, because it was commission only, I didn't know what I was going to make, right? So that set me up for what I'm on now, right? I don't know where my money's coming from.
Right.
So I already experienced that. And then they taught me pretty much kind of like sales, too. You know, you gotta, and it was a harder sell because you're trying to get people to give you money for bills they already didn't want to pay. So, you know, I learned so much there. And I feel like if I didn't work there and I didn't have that time in my life, and I got here in Atlanta to start this journey of becoming a business owner, I wouldn't be equipped to do what I do now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't even know if I answered the question, but yeah.
I mean, you hit it right on the nose, because I think so many people, they see, I'm not going to say so many people, it's a world of a digital social media world. And what we put on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, it may come off like, wow, she's doing her thing, you know? And I use it as like in my last podcast, I talk about the duckness, like how, or even just as a swan. You're on the surface, you look like you got it together and you just gliding and you just doing your thing. But underneath, like you're really working to stay afloat. And, you know, and that's exactly what you just embodied. You just mentioned, and how everything, like we said, comes full circle with every job we have had and how it plays a factor in the building of the brand that you have now. And just like you said, coming out here and coming into Atlanta,
I know
you know, and not necessarily having a plan, but you jumped and did it anyway. You know, you were just literally having this faith walk from the beginning. And I believe, like you said, all of that work has really landed you to where you are. And as we fast forward to just the grind component, you know, you landed yourself on the OWN network, Oprah Winfrey Network.
Oh.
And when you posted that, I said, yo, you got to be kidding me. For Too Fat to Fly. Like, girl, like how great was that feeling to be like, you know what? I may not be on here as a personality, but god dang it, I'm on the television show.
No, you know what? I think, so this is a great lesson. I'm going to tell you how I don't know how much time we have. I'm going to tell you about.
No, girl, keep going. We got all the time you want.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about that. So I didn't land myself, but God landed me on there.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to just have to say that first, because, you know, although I've had the branding bar for 5 years, and like I said, I'm just really doing this full time now, the past 4 years has been us trying to figure it out. Like, what is my niche? You know, marketing is huge, but I still, you know, I still owned every failure. I still own every, not failure, but every glitch, you know, and not knowing. And so I had, you know, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, right? So I go to every concert, and I bought tickets because this was not the Justin Timberlake concert. The year before that, he had a concert, and I bought a ticket, and I wasn't going with anybody because I just don't care. Like, I love Jay. And so my friend, he was like, well, because it was like around the holidays, so people were like not really in town. And so my friend, he hit me. He was like, yeah, you're going to the Jay-Z concert. Do you know where my friend, you know, can get another ticket? Because I have a friend that works with Rock Nation. And so I would usually buy my tickets through her. And I was like, well, yeah, you know, she can give me her information and, you know, to buy the ticket. And, you know, she can just meet up with me. Never met this girl at all. So, you know, she ended up meeting me. I'm focused on Jay at the concert. We kind of chopped it up. I don't even think I told her what I did. But we had a really good time at the concert. And we, you know, was like, okay, well, we'll have lunch, you know, at some point, but never did. And then so I always am about like writing things down, putting it out there. And, you know, I was doing brand confessions like earlier that year. And so I had wrote down, I want to be on TV for my business. I wasn't very specific, you know, as far as the medium or what for, but I was just like, for my business. And at the time, you know, I was really focused on brand confessions a lot of that year because I still didn't really know what I wanted to do with the branding bar, and brand confessions kind of gave me that motivation to kind of think it through, you know?
Right.
And so after I met the girl, and she said we were going to have lunch. We never had lunch. 4 months no, that wasn't even 4 months. Yeah, maybe halfway through the year, around, because the concert was in December, I think 2013. Going into 2014, about maybe the May, June, around then I get a call. And it's a producer from the OWN network. Let me put you to the space that I was in. I was in the space of creating my first event for the branding bar. Mm-hmm. I had the idea of having this expo, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it because I wasn't an event planner. I knew the pieces that needed to go together, but I was literally frustrated. So I was I was working at a startup tech company. So I'm sitting up at Georgia Tech on a computer, trying to find sponsors, Lord, who is even going to come to this event? My phone rings. It's a producer from the OWN network. She's like, yeah, can I see the Brittany? This is from the OWN network. I'm like, what? I'm just sitting there, in shock, because when you hear that, it's just you kind of go blank, you're just kind of listening. And so she's like, yeah, so we know that you have a marketing company here, right, called the Branding Bar. And I was like, yeah. But mind you, I'm in this space. Girl, I'm sitting at the desk. Should I even do this event?
Right.
Who is even going to come? And I'm spending this money. And so she's like, yeah, you have a company called the Branding Bar, right? I was like, yeah. She said, well, we have this show that's about two entrepreneurs that own a food truck from South Carolina, and they want to come to Atlanta, and they need help with their marketing. And we were referred to you by, Ashley.
Wow.
And I was like, who? Mind you, I just met this girl to meet her for the concert. We weren't friends before. I didn't know this girl from nothing, you know? And so
thank God for Ashley.
Who? Yeah, so I was like, who? And, and I was like, oh, okay, I just kind of brushed over that. And so she was like, yeah, can you meet me and we can do a video so I can send back to the producers in New York? And I was like, huh? I just was like, okay, sure. And I was so I was like, what in the world is going on? I didn't have to try out. I ended up meeting up with her. I was very self-conscious at the time because I had just got my braces, and so I had to do this video telling who I was for her to send back to New York. So this was in August, and so a month or two went by. I hadn't heard anything. It's in the back of my mind. So I'm like, what is going on? Did they not like me? Maybe it's my brace. All the negative stuff.
You're right.
But I was like, my stepdad, the whole time, he's like, you just need to focus on doing this event. You'll hear what's going on when it needs to happen. So that was August. I had that conversation with her. My event was in October, right? I didn't hear from her until maybe the end of October. So it was a couple month period where I didn't hear anything, although she would text me and be like, you're good. You don't have to worry about anything. So I'm like, okay, never been on TV before, so I don't know how it works. So she ended up calling me, and then next thing I knew, the whole crew was in town. And I had to meet up with the producer so they could figure out my storyline. And then, the next 2 days after that, I was shooting, my first scene, meeting the guys. They were setting up my storyline. And then I shot, for maybe, I don't know, I think I shot 7 times, but, it was just an hour show.
Right.
But I had to come up with a presentation. So that was even pressure because I'm like, oh, I got to get on here and know what I'm talking about, which I do. But, just the nervousness. And yeah, so that's really what happened. And to say all that, I think that is very important. You never know who you meet and who they know and the type of impression you leave on them.
Right.
And yeah.
It's crazy when that's one of the stories you said you probably think crazy because you just sat there and said, you never knew this girl. And that's really the power of once you get into networking and working with women who are secure with who they are, that they're okay with passing your name along to the next person.
Oh my God. You know what? That is so true because I was shocked she even did that.
Wow.
Because that's not often,
right.
Especially in Atlanta. I mean, it's probably anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is a competition.
Yep.
But she's not even in this industry at all. She does like nonprofit work, you know. And I was just so in awe, like, you know, once I figured out who she was, you know, and I reached out to her and I was like, girl, like, I can't believe that. Like, I got to take you to lunch. Like, this is just amazing. And, you know, to her, it was nothing. And I was talking, and, you know, my stepdad, I refer to him a lot because I talk to him about everything. He's just like my soundboard. And at the time, he was like, well, you know, that might have been nothing to her, just like you getting her tickets to Jay-Z was nothing, you know?
Right.
So you never know, like, some things may matter more to others than, you know, someone else. And
right.
So the importance, you know?
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
And how do you feel like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm done.
And like, you know, how do you feel like being a part of that and now having that under your belt kind of motivated you and has helped your business to a certain extent?
Well, yeah, definitely. So, you know, God sets up your steps because at the time I was filming the startup tech company that I was working with. It was a technology company. I was doing marketing and business development. We had 6 people in the office. I was the only one, well, I was not the only woman, but there was like a assistant to the CEO that would come in like maybe 2 times a week, but she was barely there. But I was in the office every day, only, you know, Black person there, only woman there really. And so, I was going through changes at the job because the board was pushing out our current CEO. And so they ended up bringing in a newer CEO. And although I didn't really feel like my job would be, you know, taken away because they needed me, like the role that I was in brought in the money and brought in the business, you know. But he ended up coming in there and really wanting to just rearrange things. And I was one of those things that he just rearranged. And so they ended up letting me go. And I thank God that I was filming that show at the time because I was able to focus and to have something to look forward to after being, you know, while I was being laid off. And it gave me the push that I needed. And this was this same exact time last year I was going through this.
Wow.
And because I got laid off like literally 2 days before, the 2 days before Thanksgiving, yes, last year. And so I needed it. And I don't remember the question, but it just really helped. It really helped me get to the place that I'm in now. It has helped my business being on the network. Because I needed the money. Obviously, I was laid off and I had unemployment, but it was going to be ran out. But, you know, I had a little cushion to where I could focus on getting the branding bar, the bits and pieces. Because I'm like, I'm going to be on national TV. I need to make sure that my website is tight.
Right.
I need to make sure that I have pictures. I need to make sure I have a way for people to contact me. And so I used that time before it aired and right after I got laid off to really focus on the business development of the branding bar and how it functions. And so that was great. And when it aired, you know, I got people, you know, calling me. It wasn't like my phone was ringing off the hook, but it was great because when I would answer the phone, people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're on the show. You're actually answering the phone," you know, because. And so that was really good. And I mean, of course, like I can put that on my resume. I can say like the branding bar was featured on the OWN network. You know, just having that stamp means a lot. It means a lot.
And I think it means a lot, so much more because, you know, like we have shared and talked about before, having had dreams to being in, you know, going to school for mass communication, having your own show, and full circle still, you end up on almost close to Auntie O, Oprah.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh, like how more, it's just still amazing to me because, you know, for me to not have really known what the branding bar was and, you know, just trying to make it happen and be it that there's so many, you know how many people in Atlanta have companies that do what I do?
Right.
That are startup, you know, and for them to call me It was, and that's another thing. I had tried so hard when I first got to Atlanta to partner, not even partner, but work for, other companies. And I would just get denied.
Wow.
And I never understood why I would just get denied like I would. And a lot of people, that I would say, oh, I have the Brandon Bar, and other people that have been doing their thing for years in Atlanta, like no shade, but would never really even give me a second conversation for whatever reason, maybe because they felt like I would be their competition. But for God to put that me on there was like, okay,
Right.
I'm going in the right direction, no matter the fact that I tried to network and work with other people and get in different types of circles. Like, God placed me here,
Absolutely.
And so that was just, yeah.
And I really love it because your faith is really strong, and I believe your faith is really what has allowed you to continue to push. And and just speaking of your faith, as we talk about your career, your humble beginnings, and what do you see is next for the Branding Bar? We talk about the expo. Are you going to be doing the expo again? I know you do your webinar, and let's also talk about your manual that you have. I believe it's a workbook.
Yeah, because you got my email today. So
yeah,
that
girl.
Workbook, so that workbook was one of the things that I created this time last year as a product, for people to buy, when they came to my website. So that workbook, it's a little older, but it's relevant. But as far as where I feel like the Brandon Bar is going, I am really trying, because I have other dreams. Like I want the Branding Bar right now. I do consulting. I do social media management for entrepreneurs and business owners, and a little PR here and there. But I really want to get the Branding Bar to a place where it's running on its own, meaning, I have other, kind of like my expo. So my expo, you would come and you would speak to, different consultants that specialize in different areas about what you need to do to build your brand. So I really want to take that same concept and just grow it to where I don't mind doing the work, but I'm a visionary,
Right.
I want the Branding Bar to be a place for other marketers, for other publicists, to come up under the Branding Bar and to use their skill set to service people interested in what we have to offer. And my main objective and what I'm focusing on now is the marketing of the Branding Bar, because that's how you grow a business.
Right.
If I can't be a marketing company and I don't know how to market my business. So that's where, my energies are going into marketing, to the fullest potential that I can, online. We live in a digital world. So I'm really focusing on getting my education in digital marketing and learning about advertising online and, all the cool stuff and, technical stuff that you need to know, and creating campaigns to get people to know about who I am. That's my focus, but eventually I want it to get it to be running on its own, and I have other counterparts that also know what they're doing to service the people that are interested. But outside of that, once I grow the Branding Bar to that, and I have a flow and it's working, I still am going to be involved. But I have other dreams, just like that partnership with Lala and Habitat. Like, I want to do more stuff like that. I feel that's where I'm still at. I love entertainment at heart. That's my first love. And so I want to get back into that some type of way. Whether it's putting two brands together that makes sense on an entertainment or nonprofit or, whatever collaboration can be done, but making it a great experience for people. So I don't know what that looks like. I'm praying on that, because I feel like that is the next big baby for me, to figure out how do I connect and make these big things happen. So So that's like what I want to do next.
and I'm sure it's going to happen, because if you were able to make everything else happen and God aligned it all up, I definitely have no reserve that, this will definitely happen. And as we, throughout the night, you have shared, you have shared your G codes, but let's kind of narrow them down. What are some codes that you will live by that, through your time of living, that you have, your lessons learned, and that you will be able to share with someone else listening?
Man, my G code is just go for it. Because, we only have one life to live, and I've experienced near death too. So that's maybe a reason why I'm fearless. So I'm like, I almost died. I got in a real bad car accident in college with my car, like real Kanye West. Couldn't walk for like 3 months.
Wow.
Had to take a semester off from school. So I know, I know that I'm here, and God kept me here for a reason. And I believe He didn't keep me here to struggle. He didn't keep me here to worry, and so I'm fearless in that. I think that you need to be fearless and know that we are here to live a great life. I'm human. I go through things every day, like seriously. But be fearless, be conscious of what you're putting out. You can't be positive all the time, but, knowing that, what you put out, you do get back in some form. I don't believe in bad decisions. I don't believe anyone makes bad decisions. I think this is what's also helped me. I think that you make the decision that you feel at the time is best for you.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, all good things work out for you and come to you. And so I don't believe in beating yourself up about, a decision that you've made, because ultimately you're still going to be on the right path to lead you to your greatness. And so those are the 3 things. I don't really be fearless, and maybe it was 2, be fearless, and the last one, I don't even know if it was a word, but the whole explanation.
Just
everything I said.
Absolutely. The whole concept is just jump and not have a parachute, okay? Just jump and go for it.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. Well, Brittany, I so appreciate you getting inside the G code and really sharing candidly all of your stories and even your advice, and tell the people how they can follow and support your business, your website, and anything that you may have coming up, and how the listeners can get a hold of you.
Yeah, sure. So you can visit www.thebrandingbar.com. Follow on Instagram at The Branding Bar. I love The Branding Bar's Instagram. That is like my baby. It's really fun. It keeps you motivated going throughout the day.
Absolutely.
You can follow me. And it's Branding Bar LLC on Twitter. But if you go to the website, it has all of the social on there. You can follow my personal pages on Instagram at Miss Brittany B. That's MISS Brittany BRITTANY, the letter B, and that's on all of the platforms also. And so they can hit me up. Right now I am doing some specials for Christmas. Everyone's trying to get their brands together, so I'm offering some social media management packages. If they come on in December, so And, it's just a constant grind. It's grind season. I believe December is no need for December to fall off because everyone is getting into the holidays. I think this is time to really get to it and set off what's going to take place for the rest of your year.
Absolutely. I definitely agree.
The next year, not the rest of the year, the next year.
Oh, yes, I know what you were saying. You're absolutely right with that.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody is scrambling now to try to either get into a routine or to build their routine. But nonetheless, I feel like everybody is on that peak of really trying to get there 2016 popping already.
Yeah, because the year goes by so fast.
Oh my gosh.
Where did this year go?
No, seriously. I said that the other day. Man, you look up and it's gone. But it's definitely proof is in the pudding that you utilize your year pretty well.
Thank you. Yes, I wasn't playing. I was like, I don't know how this happened, but I was like, if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, then I'm gonna live an entrepreneur lifestyle. I'm gonna go somewhere every month. I did. I don't know how I did it.
You did, girl.
But
You was in California. I was peeping your post. I said, she is out here. You better get it.
girl, I was living life on the edge. Like, I really.
And, you know,
whatever, I'm just out here.
Right. And I was told if you're not living life on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So, hey, you gotta do it. But thank you so much for getting in the G code. I appreciate you. And to,
no problem, I have fun.
Yes. I love when there's fun. Fun is always needed in this. It's all my go-getters that's listening. Please make sure you follow her on all her social media platforms. If you want to get your marketing, your social media right, she's the go-to girl. So make sure you check out thebrandingbar.com and support her. Buy that her workbook. I'm sure it will happen. And right now she has a sale on the manual, and get that. And then also check out her web series. So yeah, this is my girl. I make sure I stay up on what she got going on and fully believe in the branding bar, because we come from the grind of BET interns.
Yes. And keep doing your thing too, and keep me in the loop of what you have going on. You know, we got to keep encouraging each other through this.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Each and every time. Well, thank you, Britt, for getting inside of the G Code.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. Well, my go-getters, it is definitely fun being able to catch up with an old friend, my girl, Miss Brittany B. And again, please make sure you support her, follow her, go ahead and buy that workbook, and just really, check her out, because she's crazy dope. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at ADRI.V The Go Getta TV, as well as on SoundCloud at ADRI.V The Go Getta, and on that wonderful thing we like to call the podcast on iTunes. Go ahead and subscribe and make sure you become a part of the community. And if you want to listen anytime and play these things back, or whatever way that you are listening, you can always check out the G codes at ADRI.V I'm ADRI.V The Go Getta, as I've said it so many times. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at, guess what? Can you figure out the name? ADRI.V The Go Getta. And if you follow me, I will make sure I follow you back, and leave me a note, and definitely let me know if you are enjoying the wonderful thing I like to call the G Code. As always, thank you for listening, and welcome to the G Code.